Hey, what's going on, everybody? How are you tonight? Welcome to a new episode of Reseller Therapy. I will be joined shortly by my co host, Rachel Strickland. I'm sure you came out to see her. Unfortunately, my friend and co host, Gary, won't be able to join us tonight. He sends his regards. He will make sure to be here for the next show. I'm glad we got a couple of people in here already. We got Christopher Nutters here. Thank you so much for showing up, Christopher. And Christy's here. How are you, Mom's Closet, Texas? Appreciate you joining us. Angie's Oddities. Hey, how are you? Appreciate you coming out tonight. It has been a while since we did a show, guys. I'll be very, very honest with you. And that's because I've had a lot going on in my personal life. And we'll go over that a little bit tonight, catch you all up on what's going on. I will tell you a little bit of a secret. Miss Rachel Strickland is here, indeed. She's probably laughing at this particular moment. I'm just letting her absorb the impossible in the background until she is ready to come on. So you just give me the thumbs up when you're ready, Rachel, and I'll make sure to bring you in. Tonight, we are going to talk about a topic that is like off limits. It's something you don't hear YouTubers talk about hardly ever at all. I rarely ever hear them talk about it. In fact, when I first started reselling 8 years ago, it was one thing I hardly knew anything about because there was no information on it whatsoever. And then when I experienced it for myself for the very first time, I didn't know what to do. I was caught off guard. Now, you may know what I'm talking about. If you've been reselling for anything longer than a year or even a few months, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. But we'll get into those nitty-gritty details in just a few minutes. Snowberry Vintage is here. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you joining us. Y'all make sure to share this out on social medias or anything you want to do. Help get the crowd rised up in here. Coco and Chewy. What's up, Coco and Chewy? Appreciate you. I'm getting the thumbs up. That means Miss Rachel Strickland, how are you?
I shoved an onion ring in my mouth right when I gave you the thumbs up.
That's awesome. I love it.
And hungry, obviously. That's how I am.
Yeah. Are you got a full belly now?
I mean, it'll get there eventually. It's still kind of in my throat right now, I think.
Man, oh man alive. That's hilarious. Tiffany Rosenbaum, how are you? Thanks for showing up tonight. We do appreciate you so much. You had Tiffany on earlier today.
Yeah. She did such a great job too. As far as I know, that was like the first time that she's been live on YouTube, but you wouldn't know it. Like, she's so well composed. She did an excellent job.
She surely did. She surely did. Maybe she needs to think about starting a live show herself. She can handle it. Oh, all right. Oh, they caught you. I'm thinking it was BK for dinner.
Okay, I even did like an in-app order or whatever, and went to pick it up, and they didn't start making it until I got there, and I was like, no, Adam's gonna be waiting for me. And I got home and I'm like throwing the kids' food at them.
Were they catching it like seals?
Yes, and then all the orders were wrong, and I was like, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Said, it's Burger King, how bad could it be?
I'm not going to say what I said to you on the message, but I'm not surprised. How about that? Let's just leave it at that. I'm not surprised. Chrissy said that was a great show, Rachel, with Tiffany. Coco and Chewy. Chrissy, I haven't had BK since I was pregnant. I don't know how long that could be, but I'll be honest with you. I probably don't eat BK nearly as often as I eat Chick-fil-A, but I do like me a Whopper with bacon and cheese.
It's pretty much, sure. I mean, like, we have Taco Bell and Burger King are the only options that we have if we want to go just like grab something.
Mm-hmm.
Because at nothing else, we're not gonna find anything vegan. So,
what's the first? I think her first show, her first live show. Yeah. Taco Bell, huh? Yeah. I would not have chosen Taco Bell right before a live show anyway. You know, it has a reputation. Who cares if it's meat, right?
I hope that they at least got the patties right, but everything else.
They didn't accidentally swap out the Impossible.
You would never know. It tastes so much like me. I hope I would know so I could like stop myself.
That's hilarious. J6 is here. What's up, buddy? Thanks for showing up, my friend. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, J6, I lost my toenail. It completely came off now.
Did it? Oh, that's one of the things that we haven't been
brought it
tonight.
It could be show and tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love a good show and tell.
Can we tell about your hike? Because I have not got to hear about it. I'm a little jealous that I haven't got to.
Absolutely. I actually was thinking we could take a few moments and catch up. It's been a few weeks, right? Um, so somewhere around the beginning of the year, I had started training for a 20-mile hike with my friends in North Carolina, part of the Appalachian Trail. And somewhere in March, I got sick and I kind of just stopped my training. Believe it or not, it didn't matter how much training I had done. I don't think I would have ever gotten ready for this hike. I had the way I best describe it is it was self-induced torture. Okay. It,
Like any ultra.
gosh, it was crazy tough. Crazy tough. I mean, running 2 miles a day didn't get me anywhere close to ready to hiking. Just walking, just hiking 20 miles with 30 pounds on my back. It was torture. I think the worst part, truthfully, on day one, it rained all day
Ah,
and I was soaking wet.
I love that for you because you'll never forget like the things that are totally out of your control like that.
Yeah. And
So you're
okay, so
soaked.
I will say at the end of it all, I know I'm cutting a long story short, but at the end of it all, having gone through it, I have no quit in me. There's been several times in my life when I could have easily just stopped, right? Just given up. But in this particular instance, if I had just given up, there literally was a sign at the front that said, "There is no guarantee of rescue."
Hmm.
So I had to get out of there, and it was on
Mhm.
me to get out of there. So
Literally the only way out is through.
yes, through. Because the first day we went halfway downhill. That's why we ended up going halfway, because it was downhill. It was so easy. It was the same amount of distance either way you went on the way out the last 2 days. So had to make it through. My legs were so stinking sore and tired. I could barely walk. I looked like an old man. I used a cane for the rest of the weekend. It was crazy, Rachel. I didn't lose any toenails though. I had already lost one back in high school, but for this, I didn't lose any toenails. Now, Gary gave me a great piece of advice. I wish he was here. He said, I know it sounds crazy, but keep Vaseline on your feet no matter what. If it gets wet and you change your socks, put more Vaseline on. And I did that. I got looks from lots of people, but I
I'm
did it.
surprised that they looked at you for that.
I
Like that's
came
a
out with
great tip.
zero blisters. And in fact, I had some people that I ran into during they call the actual Appalachian Trail hikers the through hikers, and what I was doing was called a section hike. I didn't know that terminology, but the through hikers were looking at me weird, and then I showed them that I had zero blisters. Like I was like rubbing Vaseline on my feet, and they were like, "Wow, you've been hiking for 2.5 days and no blisters whatsoever, and you've never done this before." That there's something to this Vaseline, is what they were saying. So it was crazy. It was crazy tough. It was crazy tough.
But that's what you sign up for. You don't sign up for like anyone could, I don't know, run across the room, we'll say. Because if I say anyone will run a mile, someone in the chat will be not anyone. Anyone could run across the room. Like you don't sign up for that. What you signed up for was I want to see how far I can push my body. And I feel like you got that experience.
What I signed up for was a really good camping trip, but that's not what I got.
Oh, then you did not sign up for the right thing. A camping trip.
I signed up for a really good camping trip, and that is not. We spent like 0 hours actually camping. It was like get to your camp, get in your sleeping bag, go to sleep, wake up, hike some more. I mean,
Oh yeah. That's why whenever we go do like marathons or ultras or something somewhere, people are like, oh, while you're there, you should go to this place. And I'm like, no, we're there to run. That's all we're going to be able to do. Drew's training for 100-miler in August.
wow.
Yeah.
That is nuts. But y'all, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I mean, you got to do what you do to get ready for something like that. I did not do what was necessary. I thought I was, but I did not do what was necessary to get ready for this. Chrissy says, my husband did Philmont 6 years ago. I heard that word, but I'm not familiar with what it is. Is it part of the Appalachian? It was so hard. It was a 2-week trip.
That's a lot.
I learned the Appalachian Trail is 2,198 miles. And I met several people who were doing it during that
incredible.
trip. It takes them from April till August to finish.
Wow.
Not me, man.
This is life changing. The person that finishes that is not the same person that started it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Well, it was a group of 7 of us, and one guy lost 13 pounds. 13 pounds. J6 says, it's amazing what you can do when you have to, and there's no choice. Yeah. I wanted to give up so many times because I was in so much pain, especially in my legs and my knees. I have an ACL issue back from high school. I think I heard it when I used to do wakeboarding and knee boarding on the river. And then soccer didn't help it at all. But it started flaring up on day 2, and it was like painful to take a step down. And there's steps ups and there's steps down, step up and step down. And your knees are meant to absorb shock, right? That's the purpose of your knees. And the shock it was absorbing was just pain shooting through my leg. So it got real tough, y'all. It got tough.
You find out what you're made of in situations like that.
Absolutely. Christopher Nutter says it goes all to Vermont. It goes all the way up to Vermont, Maine.
Yeah,
the Appalachian Trail goes up to Maine, I believe. I'm pretty sure it starts in Georgia and goes up to Maine. And they have to. The reason why they have to hike it at certain times is because you can't start it too early because there's still snow. It's closed, and you can't be on the trail too late because then in Maine it closes again. Wow. So if you don't make it, could you imagine 2,198 miles? You're on like mile 2,100, and you didn't make it because it got closed because of snow. Could you? God, that's just.
I mean, they closed Drew's first 100-miler at 78 miles in. Not quite the same thing, but he had trained for that for the better part of a year.
Did they close it for like weather conditions or something like that?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
That's
so
nuts.
sometimes, I mean, that's the beast about like running and hiking and ultra stuff is it beats you up physically, mentally, emotionally, and you go right back to it like a bad boyfriend. You just go right back.
You will not catch me hiking like this ever again.
I hope
promise
you do.
that.
No,
I may do a day
soon.
hike. Maybe. I will not do a weekender like that. Not at all.
You will so.
I buy stuff is here. I ran a block down the road. Then I got my ice cream from the truck and I walked back home. That's it. I would only run if a bear was chasing me, my friend.
I don't believe that.
That's hilarious. Hey guys, good evening. All Things Reviewed. How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate you. Honestly, I think you're a new name here, and I appreciate you joining us. If y'all haven't subscribed already, please do so. Rachel's link is down below as well, and subscribe to her as well if you have not. There was something else I wanted to catch you up on. Actually, I want to ask you about your toe first. Okay, you've got to tell, like, for those of you who don't know, Rachel has got a great toenail story. Go.
Well, I randomly talk about not training. On Friday, I was like, hey, when's that 24-hour run? And it was the next Friday. And I did like 2 training runs and went and ran 50 miles that day. And my feet were like, I've never seen my feet like this. It was torturous. Anyway, we're like, what are we, 6-7 weeks from this now? And all of a sudden the other day I went swimming and what was a bruised toenail just turned white. And I was like, it's completely separated now. And so I went to pull it up and it's all pulled up except for the corner. It was still attached. I sent Adam and Gary the video because like there's only so many people I can gross out sending them really nasty videos like that. And these guys, of course, I got to try. They didn't even flinch, I don't think. Adam sends me he sent me a picture of his toenailless toe too. And so anyway, it did completely come off and I was laying in bed. I'm so sorry, guys, if anyone's eating dinner, but I was like laying in bed when I pulled it off. So I laid it on my bedside table and the next morning, Drew's like, why do you still have this? And I was like, I'm framing it with the metals. I'm going to hang it on the wall next to the treadmill.
Yeah. You got to paint it. You got to like paint something on it, like a metal or a date. Paint the date on there or something. Yeah, like
so
that.
Anyone that thinks that they've got me figured out and I'm super bougie and you probably don't know enough about my nasty habits, I guess.
I love it. Okay, so it came off and it wasn't painful. You didn't have to pull it off, right?
I didn't have to pull it off and it hasn't hurt. And they usually don't hurt, except last night I had socks on when I fell asleep and I woke up in the middle of the night and it hurt so bad. And I don't know, like I went to a boot camp class at the gym yesterday. So I don't know if I like jolted it or something. Like it was painful last night.
Yeah. I was worried about you and in the fact of it's staying on there and it getting caught on just ripping off, you know. So
that's what I was worried about. I kept taping it on before my workouts and stuff.
So I'm glad it came off without pain. That's good. Good. What is this? Oh, Coco Chewy says I mentioned Christopher today in their latest video.
That's awesome.
That is fun. I like it when people share about other people, other resellers and stuff like that. I wanted to mention this because it's Rachel. It's because of Rachel. It's Rachel's fault. Let's put it that way. It's Rachel's fault that I even did this. But I listed and sold a Dorito on eBay for $34.95 plus $29.95 plus $5 in shipping. So they paid $34.95. And would you believe it? I found another one a week later. So I'm going to list another one and see what happens. Basically, what's so cool about this is I've always wanted to find an extremely seasoned Cool Ranch Dorito in the bag of Doritos and it be fully intact, like not broken, not chipped off in the corner or anything like that. But it's probably hard to see on the video. I mean, on the camera.
It's heavily seasoned. Why have you always wanted to, though?
Have you ever popped one in your mouth that is like, even if it's broken? You don't eat Doritos. Okay. So a Dorito that's full, a Cool Ranch Dorito, like extremely seasoned, it just tastes so good. Okay. And I could tell this guy messaged me and he asked, how long has it been out of the bag? Has it been handled much? Do you think it's still edible? I totally see this guy spending $30 on a heavily seasoned Dorito, had some sort of Cool Ranch infatuation like I do, and just wanted to taste it. I bet you he got it and he ate it. I packaged that thing so well, and he didn't message me back to tell me if it got there and intact or not, but I hope it did.
I used cotton batting like you would put in a pillow or something whenever I mailed the ATL Flippers, bought the potato chip I sold.
Right.
And I used like cotton batting and stuff and then boxed it inside of a box and floated that box. And I always wonder weird stuff like that. Like, is it a YouTube like or content creator or something that bought it?
I could ask him, but he didn't, like his name didn't ring a bell, right? Or at least not a YouTuber that I knew of. I could ask him straight up if he does content on YouTube or not, and hopefully maybe he'll answer me. But I packaged it in, I left it in the Ziploc bag. Then I put it in a plastic bag that I put it all the way down at the bottom. And then I put air, like I twisted it and tied it so that it's like a bubble. And then I packaged that in a 4x4 box with extra bubble wrap. Then I packaged that in a 6x6 box with extra wrap. So I floated a box in a box in a bag. So this should be great.
That's so interesting. Grumpy Picker. Yeah.
Do it. Buy a bag and sell each one individually. You never know what you might get. Even if it's $1 a chip, right? Plus shipping. Don't forget about the plus shipping. Yeah. I just bought Cool Ranch pickle flavored chips at Sam's Club. Cool Ranch. I've heard of Cool Ranch and I've heard of pickled, but I've never heard of Cool Ranch pickle flavored chips.
That's interesting.
So that's like a combination of two big wows.
Della loves pickle Pringles, and they just stopped selling them in 2020 at our Walmart. So you just
really
can't get them here anymore. So if we go on vacation, then we look for Oriental, like the soy flavored ramen, because you can't get that here anymore.
Pringles?
Like the soy flavored ramen and pickle flavored Pringles. You can't get either of those in our town anymore. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. I mean, I guess they can just discontinue flavors because the sale doesn't, they don't sell like they thought they would. But I truly didn't even know they had, what'd you say, soy flavored ramen?
It's the only vegetarian, because the rest of them like have chicken stock or beef stock or something, but they had like an Oriental flavor that was soy, and you can't get them in our Walmart anymore. But last time we were in Florida, we found them by the case, and we bought a few cases to bring back.
Good job. J6 Flips, nail frame. I've got a bruised nail now, but still hanging in there. Maybe it'll fall off at the run club. Heading there now. Have a great night. Have fun, J6. I don't know if I should tell you good luck or not on the nail thing, but yeah. I hope it works out for you. How about that?
I mean, I think he wants to be in the club.
Yeah, definitely. Selling with Alice. How are you, Alice? Thanks for showing up tonight. Let's see here. There was something else here. Oh, Grumpy Picker said, or will I need to expand into Fritos and Lay's? Possibly. I think it wasn't a Lay's potato chip you sold.
It was.
Big air pocket in it. Yeah. Cool deal. Cool deal. All right. Let's talk about this taboo topic, Rachel. The one thing that you don't hear other YouTubers talk about. Now, they may hint on it quickly in a video, but they never talk about like a whole stinking video about it, right? And that is the never like you can't dodge it, gonna have to absorb it, got to deal with it. Returns when you're talking about eBay, like it's just gonna happen. It's a part of life when it comes to eBay and reselling. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
What?
I love that we're talking about this tonight because one of the things I love about your show so much is the difference of opinions. And I have such a different opinion than a lot of other resellers. And I feel like 90% of people have the same opinion you do. Like you may as well accept them because you're going to have to accept them. But honestly, Adam, I've been reselling for like 7 years, almost 8, and I could count the number of returns I've ever had.
Really?
Because I don't accept returns.
I was about to say all your listings, and that's what I wanted you to mention. That I baited you to mention that. I knew you had no returns on yours, and I'm still though surprised that you've had so few.
I have had so few, I'm telling you. And the few that I have had are forced because that's where everyone will stand is you may as well accept them and offer them because otherwise you're going to be forced. And I'm talking even INADs. I can count the number of times that's ever happened.
Yeah. So you're not even forced into INADs, huh?
No. And the few INADs that I've had, one of them I got reversed and eBay actually gave me my money back on it. And so I made a video about that because that just doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
But yeah, I mean, I could share with you every story of every return because I remember them specifically because I take it very personally and wear the chip on my shoulder proudly. Like, I'm such a girl when it comes to stuff like that because I'm personally offended. I take such good pictures and I describe things so well. Yeah, I don't accept them and I've been forced into very few.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear because that means we're going to have some good conversations back and forth on this stuff. So what I did though, I want to kind of start the conversation. I listed off some categories of returns. Okay. I'm going to share those now.
I think that's good that you're doing that because it may have a lot to do with categories.
Well, they're kind of a funny thing. I turned them into a funny thing. So what we have here is buyer's remorse. Okay. And that is what it is. The buyer bought it and they changed their mind after the fact. Right. Then we've got trigger happy, the trigger happy return. And that is when the buyer didn't read the full description, right? Like it's on them because they didn't read. Then you got the whoopsie. Okay. This is when you accidentally list something with a flaw and you didn't notice the flaw and describe and disclose it. The whoopsie. Have you sound like you could have possibly had a whoopsie, right?
I'm sure at some point I've had something that I either didn't test and had to return because that's kind of a whoopsie too.
Yeah. So then you got the switcheroo. All right. The switcheroo is when you accidentally sent the wrong item that they actually bought and paid for.
Oh,
that's on you for the most part.
Yeah.
Then you've got the it wasn't me return. It wasn't me. That's when you've got UPS, USPS, or FedEx to blame for the fact that it was broken in transit.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
All right. Then you got the something's fishy. Okay. The something's fishy return. And this is a possible scam. Just things aren't adding up. The details, the multiple questions, the after the fact, this and that. Just something's fishy. Could be a possible scam. Got to be aware of that one. You've got the Murphy's Law return. No matter what you do, no matter how well you do it, it's just going to happen. Okay. Easy. It's also called the easy come, easy go. You did whatever you could. And it was just going to happen no matter what you did. Right. There's no avoiding it. Then you've got the last one, the dodged bullet. Okay. This is when the buyer starts a return, but they never actually send it back to you. That's the dodged bullet. So those categories I came up with based on my experiences and things I've either been like, sometimes I've been the person returning something, right? And then, but for the most part, this is when I've gotten a return back on eBay. Before I go any further, Rachel, do you think there's any category I may have missed that you can think of? I mean, the
Well,
INAD is like the whoopsie,
yeah.
item not as described.
And then if they just choose to say INAD, that's something's fishy. There's a lot that
Mhm.
goes into something's fishy as a category.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
someone who doesn't accept returns, something's usually fishy.
I bet you ask a lot of questions and get a
I
lot of
do. I
details.
want pictures. I just had one this week that I've been selling those tiles that Drew pulled off the wall and
Mhm.
someone said these did not arrive intact. Several of them were broken. The package was not did not protect. And I said, I've sold like literally at this point a couple $1,000s worth of those. I said I've sold so many of these and never had one arrive broken other than today. So could you send me photos? I always ask for photos first because sometimes you dodge the bullet right then. As soon as they know that you're going to actually ask for some type of proof or
Yep.
evidence, that you won't even hear back a lot.
I was about to say it's like crickets.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm move on with my life too. But they sent me some photos, and I said count up the number that are broken because I told them the package is insured. Don't worry, don't throw away the original packaging. But when I found out it was 7 tiles, I just grabbed 7 more tiles and shipped them out to them because I
Mhm.
do have a level of customer service, even though you guys are thinking I'm mean not accepting returns.
The worst.
And I just sent them out. And of course, they had to go to California. So it was going to be an arm and a leg to get them out
Is
there.
that still a feat of money for you? I mean, you're closer to the center. You're on Central Time. Is it still a lot for you?
California is insane right now.
Okay.
I wish that they were an exemption. I would not ship to anyone in California if I could right now. Oregon
hear
is
you.
cheaper than California.
Yeah.
Utah, even as rural as they are and remote, is cheaper than California. California it's like there's a surcharge to get into the state or something.
Ah, that makes sense. I mean, in the situation you're describing, you're sending them basically a replacement on your dime, but typically the original purchase you probably charge shipping, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I charged them like $12 and that still wasn't enough, but they bought $100 worth of tiles. So, a lot of the times I'll charge whatever someone I feel like is going to pay for shipping and try to pad the rest of it into the price, or you're just going to eat it because I could charge them $80 shipping. That doesn't mean they're going to pay it. And then you're left with a product that's not going to sell,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Happy Picker came up with another one. Something just doesn't fit, like a
Mm,
try-on service. I would have called that in my categories the try-on service, basically.
yeah, I would never
What?
accept a return that didn't fit.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, would you buy something to try it on, and then if it didn't fit, just return it on eBay?
No, like I don't buy jeans online because I have to see what they look like. And for Mother's Day, Drew bought me 2 pair of shorts and he thought he was doing the right thing and he looks at the tag of my shorts and he gets size large and I was like, "Oh, I can tell looking at these." I mean, one of them was comical. It looked like I would have been running in my underwear. It's like, are these like a junior's large or what? And so now we have these 2 that were bought online. So we've got to do like an online return. And I'm like, oh, what a nightmare. I don't want to
Yeah.
have to do that.
So let me ask you this: why do you think resellers don't avoid this topic? Why do you think it's kind of one of the least talked about topics on YouTube resellers videos? And let me preface it with this fact. I looked up some statistics, okay? eBay has 2 billion transactions a day. Okay? And on the highest end, they expect 4% returns. Now, 4% doesn't sound like a lot when you're talking about 2 billion, but that comes out to 80 million returns. 4% of 2 billion is 80 million. Those are some big numbers. Big numbers. So why do you think then that YouTube resellers kind of shy away or don't even mention it if it's truthfully one of the bigger parts? I mean, I know you have figured out a way to avoid it, or at least attempt to avoid it. You can't 100% avoid it. I don't care what you say, Rachel. You can't 100% avoid it. But why do you think that they just choose not to talk about it?
I mean, for me, I don't talk about it because I have like such a different opinion that it's almost like a volatile subject. But maybe some people think like that's not sexy enough for a video, or some people maybe it's depressing, or some people don't like to highlight their faults. If I make a mistake, I want to tell you guys about it so you learn from what I did wrong. But a lot of times YouTube is a social media and it's the highlight reel, and a return is just not the highlight reel. Could you think that might be it?
Could be, but I could honestly paint a pretty picture around a return sometimes.
Right. It can make a very interesting story. I mean, like I say, I made an entire video about how to get an INAD reverse because I had no idea the process of an INAD and how you cannot, it doesn't matter what you do, it will come back to you. You have to have the return. And then I was like, well, I'm going to find a loophole, and I found a way to get that reversed. So that was interesting.
That is interesting. Let's see what the chat has to say. What's going on there? Christy says, I really haven't had many returns, only 6 for fit or didn't like this year. The rest are due to damage, and I don't have them ship it back. I can admit that I've had I've had maybe half that are damaged or didn't work, and I've opted due to cost to return to just request pictures, proof, and then refund the money without returning the item.
That makes sense.
That's one way of doing it. Christy says, by year, I mean 12 months. Okay, rolling 12 months.
That's not bad.
Yep, that is pretty good. Coco says, I feel like I do no returns. I feel like if I do no returns, my sales will decrease. Rachel, thoughts on that? Since
I think that most people think that, and it depends on what your category is. If you're primarily a clothing reseller, that may be true. Maybe that's why a lot of my stale clothing is stale. I love to sell hard goods, and generally speaking, if someone wants like some vintage toy from their childhood, they don't plan on returning it, and it doesn't matter to them. When I'm buying something on eBay, no returns never stops me from buying it, because I know that I have the eBay money back guarantee. And if it arrives not as described, I can still get my money back. Or if it, is advertised as authentic and it's not, it never stops me from buying an item. Does it stop you?
I honestly, I only look at that if it's a very high end, like if I'm paying a lot of money. For instance, I bought a new watch a couple of weeks ago, a new smartwatch. I'm a I was about to say a tech phobia, but that's completely opposite of what I am. I'm tech all the time,
aficionado.
Right? And this was a $200 watch. And if it had not been for returns, I would have had to eat it because they sent me the wrong item. So
if you got it on eBay, though, you would have been protected still.
eBay guarantees there, protected.
Yeah.
But they still could have given me a major headache, right? If they chose to. But luckily, I didn't have to. They made it easy because I was able to show with pictures and stuff like that. I mean, that's another thing. Back to the possible scam stuff. Like, what if they sent me the right item and I swapped it out and then try to show that it was the wrong item? Like. People do that all the time. You go to you've been to these Amazon bins stores recently. You know what I see most often than not? A good item, a really good resellable item in a box, but the item inside is the old broken item that they returned after they got the new replacement.
Wow.
I see that like all the time. That's like number 2 reason why I quit going.
Wow.
Christy also says my return rate is 1.45%. Yeah, they said the average is 1 to 4%, and I went on to the high end, admittedly, when I gave that statistic. So you're a little bit below the middle ground there. So most are damaged in shipping or something had a defect that I didn't see. See? One is outside your control, and one is well within your control. Grumpy Picker says, eBay sides with the buyer so much. I don't think it matters whether you say you don't do returns or not.
I mean, that is 100% the majority opinion. It is. And I know I'm the outlier not accepting them, but I am telling you guys, I could mention every return I've ever had. Not for the year, for 7 years.
Right.
It does matter. Like if you don't want to accept them, I think you should run your business like you want to run your business.
I've heard that tagline somewhere.
Like, you know who doesn't accept returns? Hermes. You're not walking into Hermes and saying you have to have an appointment to even be welcome to buy a bag. They have to choose you. I am not trying to be Walmart where you can bring in shoes that you wore for 7 years and say, I don't like these anymore. I mean, I've witnessed people bringing in absolute garbage and Walmart gives them their money back. I'm not trying to be Walmart. Like, your store doesn't have to be for everybody. I mean,
No, I did
don't
not
mean
know that about that particular store. That's crazy, but that's
about
high-end
Hermes or
right there.
Walmart.
Hermes.
Oh yeah, you're
Oh,
not
I
allowed
totally
to-
knew that about Walmart. Walmart will take anything back.
Yeah, you get assigned a personal shopper and you give them your wish list and they might call you in a few months and say, okay, we got some things on your wish list, but instead of a red bag, you can get a blue one. Instead of silver hardware, you're going to get gold. Do you want it or not? Because other people are standing in line and you're like, oh yes, please let me buy your bag.
Thank you for choosing me to buy your merchandise. Oh, that's hilarious. I've never heard of that before, but that's awesome, man. That's a name. That is brand name right there. That's
as high end as it gets,
That
and
is
they're not
good.
accepting returns. Like, do whatever you want to for your business. Like, you're not clocking in for someone else. This is your business. Run it how you want to.
I'm going to shout out a seller that I recently bought something on eBay from. And it was a Mother's Day gift that I bought from my mom. She picked it out. She sent me the link. She said I needed to complete my Longa Burger collection. And it was a bowl. I mean, just what I would call a cereal bowl, right? And so I bought it off of eBay. It came in. It was like $35 plus $15 in shipping. And when it came in, I immediately shook. I knew it wasn't good because I could hear it as I'm picking up the box, you know?
Dang.
So I gave my wife because I'm a seller, I did this. Now, I don't know that a regular everyday buyer would think to do this, but I gave my wife my cell phone. I said, here, hit record and just record me opening this from the get-go so that I've got evidence, right? And it was broken, and I had the evidence and I had the pictures. So I didn't, and I even emailed him. I was like, unfortunately, it came broken. You know, USPS wasn't as gentle as they should have been. And admittedly, I didn't say it to her because I didn't want to be rude. I don't think she packed it well enough, honestly. But she was like, and she had a no return option. And I didn't even notice it when I bought it. She had a no return option. But she was like so overwhelmingly helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, like I sent her the pictures in my return request. She instantly hit the refund button. She even said something like, I'm so sorry. I haven't actually had to do a return in so long. Let me know you got your money so you know you're safe. And unfortunately, she didn't hit. And I don't know. This could be here nor there, right? I don't know if it's my fault, her fault. I think it's USPS's fault. But she just sent me back a refund for the original price. And then she must have caught that because like a day later, she said, oh, I just realized you only got this much back. And she offered and she sent me, like, I told her it's not necessary. She was like, no, she bought a bank. What do you call this bank? A money order, a $15.80 money order for the original shipping cost and mailed it to me. And I was like, that is like customer service if I ever saw it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to
above
her.
And beyond.
Yeah, shout out to her completely for doing such a good job handling that return. I gave her positive feedback. And she earned it as far as I'm concerned. Snowberry Vintage says the liar pants on fire. So that's a new category she's got. The buyer tried to say scissors were 8 inches instead of the 9.25 inches as stated in the listing. I asked for a picture with a ruler and they sent them 1.5 back past. Oh, they set them back 1.5 past 0. So that's a good one. Like that is straight up liar pants on fire scam potentially there too. That's
gotta be someone that just decided they didn't want the item or didn't like it when it came in because like what difference would it make 8 inches or 9.25?
1.25 inches, Rachel. It's not as described.
That's a little more paper you could cut with every swipe.
I'm always gonna play devil's advocate. You know me. Oh man. Coco says, yeah, that makes sense, but I honestly don't remember what that's in reference to. Sorry, Coco.
Just talking about the return. We're talking about whether or not you accept them, decreasing your sales.
Oh yeah, decreasing your sales. You know what? Okay, on that point, you reminded me of a thought. Thank you, Coco. You helped to remind me of that thought. I actually, when I first started, I had 0 returns, and the question was, does it reduce your sales?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this based on personal experience. When I did clothing in the first part of my reselling career, I did no returns. And I didn't see a whole lot of returns, but I also didn't have a whole lot of sales either. Now, I was just getting started for the first year and a half, 2 years, learning how to do this. Then I moved into things like sports equipment and electronics and hard goods. And I realized I wasn't making that many sales on that either. I was wasting my money. I ended up making 2 changes at once, and I'm not sure which of the 2 had the positive impact. The first change was I started giving discount on shipping rates, right? So we get a seller's discount on shipping, especially if it's heavy like a VCR or a TV. So I started sharing that discount with the buyer, and you can do that in your eBay settings. But at the same time, I went from no returns to 14-day buyer pays returns.
Hmm.
And I actually saw an increase in sales, but I really didn't necessarily at that point in time see an increase in returns. It wasn't until maybe with the past 2 or 3 years when I really started getting a lot better at what I do with the electronics, listing, selling, testing, that type of thing. The more I sold, the more returns I saw. And honestly, that's why I think if I went to no returns, it's possible that could go down, or I could get just as many, and I have to fight just as many INADs or just as many cases and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I think you should test it for yourself, and you should give it longer than a month. What would you say is a good time frame, Rachel, for a test like that? Changing your return policy to see if it makes a difference in your sales. I'm going to say minimum 4 months. Minimum.
That I want to say like a quarter, but then it depends on what quarter you tested it in. You know what I mean? Like if you want to test something during summer slowdown, or you want to test something during fourth quarter, your numbers are going to be really skewed. You might want to compare it to the year prior to that in the same quarter. But 90 days takes 90 days to make any type of change, right?
Yep. Do you keep your annual records of sales personally? Like,
No, I mean,
I
like
have a
with my
spreadsheet.
taxes.
Okay. So would you be able to go back? Do you keep any type of information analysis? We're off topic here. Sorry, I'm just curious. Do you keep any type of records or analysis that you would be able to like look at last year's second quarter sales and compare it to this year's second quarter sales?
I mean, you can do that within eBay.
You can do that within eBay.
Mhm.
Okay. So
On your seller dashboard.
You just rely on the eBay information in the dashboard.
Yeah, because you can say like, okay, I want the report from January 1st until today's date, and then you compare to, and you can either compare it to the same number of days before that, or you can compare it to those same days the last year.
Yep. Okay, so you got to run the
set
report
the parameters
and look at it. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll be honest to say, I have paid very little attention to eBay's reports because I keep it all myself.
I got really fascinated with those reports when I was doing the death pile to a Bronco, because that is where I pull like my weekly updates from, and I was showing everybody, just right on my computer, being super transparent about what everything looked like. And there's so many neat tools back there on the back end that I didn't know were there until I started doing that.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention, and the reason is because maybe I can use that information better in my analytics. And you reminded me of something that during our off time, you bought a Bronco. What was that, last year?
Mm-hmm.
I told you, but I'm going to tell the world now. It feels so good to buy a car in cash, and eBay helped me do that.
That's awesome.
My daughter needed a new car because of a bad accident that totaled her car back in October. And I just didn't like her driving my big SUV, which was our backup family car for vacations and stuff like that. So it was just time. I had to get her a replacement car, and buying one in cash just feels so good. You get that title immediately, man. Oh, it feels so good. Whew.
That's awesome.
I love it. All right. Christy says, that's why I asked for some items back, because I'm worried that they are swapping it out, even if it's cheaper to let them keep it.
I'm with her.
Really good point. Really, really good point. I feel like you may be able to pick that out though, especially if you ask for pictures. I do items that have serial numbers, so I'm able to do a comparison that way. I know not everything has a serial number, right? But my electronics all have serial numbers. So if they tell me a DVD VCR combo unit doesn't work when they got it, I'm like, snap me a picture of the serial number so I can compare. And they could just snap me a picture of the actual one and I have to take it. But then when they get it back, I've got two pieces of evidence. One, the picture they provided, and two, the item that I just got back. So they lied to me on two points.
Yeah.
Christopher Nutter says, I sold an item I did not have to ship a bottle of Vermont maple syrup, and I got back positive. Okay. Translate that for me, Rachel.
Yeah, I got this because Josh, Harry Tornado, did this. So he sold an item. I'm sure this is exactly what Christopher did. You can't find the item. And so what Josh did was he sent them a full refund, because you can issue them any type of money back. And this does not have to do with a return on eBay. You can give the buyer back as much money as you want. And you can say it's an other adjustment. And Josh sent them like a Starbucks gift card, like a $5 gift card. So what Christopher's saying was he sent them some maple syrup. I'm so sorry, because you have to track something.
Yeah.
So if you're right on the cusp of I cannot do one more return, like I'm going to fall below standard, or
cancellation in that case.
Yes. Yeah. You can't do a cancellation or anything.
Okay.
He sent him a message and told him, like, I'm sending you this gift card as an apology. Here's your full refund.
Okay.
Who's not going to be happy with that?
Right. Plus something extra. Okay. Yeah. That's a good way of handling it, Christopher. Oh man. I buy stuff. Now I'm going to buy something from Rachel's store and return it on purpose.
I feel like he would do that.
She's going to deny it so quick. Oh man. Yard Sales and Dreams is in the house. Hey, how are you, girl? Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you. Talking about returns. If you got a good story, let's tell it. Let me tell this story real quick. Peaches to Beaches. I picked up a Harley Davidson rain suit, top and bottom, coat and pants. It was a men's size small. Okay. I paid $35 for it. Listed it for, I think it was $80. Price isn't important. It was either $70 or $80, and it sold, and I shipped it. 3 days later, I get a return request that says that it's too small. Now I've got 14-day returns, so I can't do the old, I don't return shipping thing. I don't return. They sent me back a completely different Harley Davidson rain suit. Completely different Harley Davidson rain suit. This is one of those stories where eBay did the overwhelmingly right thing. I totally expected them to somehow just provide me a label to send it back, or to swap it back out, give the buyer another chance to get it right. That's what I expected. What I got was, you get to keep your original money. You get to keep the thing that they sent you. And I have no idea what they did for the buyer. I assume they gave them a full refund too.
Probably.
With the eBay return money back guarantee. But would that really fall under the eBay money back guarantee category? Because
the way
they got what they wanted, right?
But the way that the eBay representative explained it to me is, and I even asked, if I order a couch with free shipping and then you're going to charge the seller because I say item not as described, even though it's exactly, you're telling me you're just going to give me my money back and charge them shipping. And they said, unfortunately, yes. And that's why it's so important when you have a situation like this. The first thing you do is report the buyer, because they abused the money back guarantee. So you have to report them.
I did not report this person. I did not honestly take it as something they did on purpose.
Oh, sure they did.
Well, you know what I took it as? And okay, this is positive me, glass half full. I took it as they bought two from two different buyers and opened a return for the one that didn't fit and accidentally returned to the wrong, opened the return for the wrong person. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but I think
from
you're
me and they bought from you
lenient.
and they returned yours to me. I could be. Hey, I'm a nice guy. What can I say? We got ATL Flippers in the house. What's up, Derek and Jasmine? How are you? Hey,
I bet they don't get any returns.
You don't think so?
No. You know who doesn't accept returns? Whatnot.
Who?
And people are selling plenty of stuff over there.
They have some sort of return
No, they
policy.
don't.
Oh, come on. They got to have a return
They do
policy.
not, unless it's completely misrepresentative and you would like need to prove that. There are no returns.
There you go. You just nailed it. I said some type of return policy. And you
Well,
just
I
said,
mean, you can't
unless.
just outright scam people. I can't like advertise this cup and then send you,
Yeah.
toenails or something.
If you send me a toenail, I'm coming to your house and I'm throwing it right back in your
I'm going to
face.
send you a picture of it later.
All right. All right. I think that Anthony C says, I think that shipping discount makes a huge difference. It did for me on heavy, like I said, the TVs and the VCRs and DVD combo units that I sell. I mean, we're talking $18 versus $12 in shipping. Seriously. He also says every item has a market value that I would argue includes shipping. So if you list an item for $20 plus calculated shipping, its value is $30. You will cut off half the country.
Yep.
Yes, 100% agree.
I agree too.
I think that's like where the free shipping idea comes in, that you just absorb the shipping and the cost of the product. So I agree with that. All right. What do we got going on here? I had a lot, believe it or not. I didn't count them up, but I was going to talk about the number of returns I've had, I guess, in the past 90 days. I had somebody open a return on a Le Creuset Dutch oven stock pot lid because they looked at the picture and they thought it was oval, but even though the very first picture, it shows it's round. They never returned it. I had somebody return a golf club because on the back of a golf club, it's got stickers that sells, the brand and the model. Well, the sticker was missing on the back of the golf club, and I didn't disclose that it was missing. I gave a clear picture and I said, "See pictures for details." And he returned it because it was missing the picture. It was missing the thing on the back. He said it'll mess with the weight of the club and throw it off. Guess what? I immediately listed it and it sold for more the next day. So that was a good one. These printers. You may have seen my videos where I'm picking up a lot of printers for $1 at Goodwill. I test them as best as I possibly can. They're actually starting to be a complete flop, because I'm getting more returns with those than ever. So
yeah, if I'm steering far away from a lot of those type of electronics, I think that there's like so much more room for error and something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steer away from the printers for now. I still got a couple I haven't sold yet, so I think I paid $1. I think I'm just gonna toss.
I have one I haven't listed that I paid $20 for, but it's supposed to be worth like 200 plus. So I may take my chances and go ahead and list it. My parents sold a printer, and I sold one once for over $600.
Yeah, was it like a big heavy?
Theirs was a pretty good size one.
Desk printer?
Mine was a photo printer.
Uh-huh.
And it was more for like commercial use. It was like a Canon Pixma or something like that, but it was like residential size, and that thing sold. Yeah. And the one that my mom sold was more like a commercial size one. It was very heavy.
Were you able to fully test it?
No.
And so wait, correct. Did you say you listed it already, or you haven't listed it?
Sold it.
Oh, you sold it. So you know it. You don't know if it actually works.
No.
Okay. They bought it for $600. No returns. God, that's a gamble, man. See, that's where somebody on the buyer end is like, if it don't work, I'll just return it. I don't care if it says no returns. If it don't work, I'll just return it. That's what the world society does. Whether you say no returns or not, they're gonna probably.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Listen, I know I feel like I share a lot of things that people are like, oh, why does she do that as a reseller? Why does she? I guarantee you there's stuff in every reseller's business that is not by the book exactly how they should do it. I'm just willing to voice my stuff out loud, and everyone's like rolling their eyes at me because I'm doing it wrong. No, I'm just not going to tell you that I do every single thing perfect and I log it all every time and that I keep every receipt and test every item. I don't. I take the shortest distance from point A to a paycheck in listing this stuff. Like
And you know what? Would you be ready to deal with that $600 return if it happened?
I mean, the money is right back to them. I probably hadn't spent it yet. I keep enough in my business account. Like I treat my business like my business. You know what I'm saying?
That's
No,
a good point.
their money would still be sitting there. I'm not reselling paycheck to sale. Like,
Let me ask you this. You have no returns.
mhm.
Is there still a window on that? Like 30 days maybe? And what I mean by that is, even though you say no returns, they could open it immediately as soon as they get it? Or do they have, like, does eBay set a limit on that? I can't answer the question because I don't
You
know. I
mean
don't
for
do their
like
returns.
INAD?
Yes.
INAD, someone can come back for like 30 days on an INAD, as far as I know. If not, like it's ridiculous how long somebody can come back because, you know, the few that's ever happened.
Specifically with you for no return. Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, have you experienced a return attempt for something longer than 30 days?
No.
Okay, so that's still an unanswered question then. I'd be curious to know if somebody who does no returns on all of their items, if they've ever had an experience where someone tried to attempt to return on an item over 30 days. I'll be willing to bet that in eBay, the option to return is gone, right? Like the button just disappears after a certain amount of time. I could be wrong there. It could be 45 days as far as eBay is concerned. It could be 60. I don't know. I'm going to guess 30. If y'all know differently, let me know. Let's see what Christy says. I had a guy say something wasn't working. I have a suggestion, and it worked. Then he came back and said it wasn't working again. So I sent him a refund. I got money in the mail because he said it started working again. Wow.
I'm so glad he was so honest, Christy.
Yeah, lucky you. Lucky you. There are
She would
honest
have
people
done
out
that
there.
for someone. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of person she is too.
Yeah. ATL Flippers, we don't do free shipping anymore. We charge shipping on all shoes and clothes, and people still pay for them. I'm with you. I don't do free shipping. Well, I do like less than a pound free shipping on hats. Nothing else. That's it.
And there's,
Nothing
you
else.
know, that's another so controversial topic that people will stone you over. If
We could
you
have it on a completely different show because we've had that conversation 2 or 3 times, and it's still like you'll
you might
never
lose
end
friends
that
over
conversation.
free shipping. And
Yeah.
I'm still of the mindset that you have to do what works for you. There is no one size
Absolutely.
fits all approach to reselling.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. In fact, one of my friends that has been doing free shipping for years is testing the waters with calculated shipping or flat rate. I can't remember which one he's doing. So I'm anxious to hear his feedback. He's been doing it for a couple of months now. I'm anxious to hear his feedback on how it's changed his income, his sales, or anything like that. So, hey, I'd flip that. What's up? Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you stopping by. Let me, there's a couple of new people in the house and I haven't said it in a while. If y'all haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Rachel's link is also in the description down below. Make sure to subscribe to her as well. I'll steal Rachel's line. If you hit the thumbs up, you'll get a free sale. And if you don't, Rachel will give you your money back.
I will.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Skipping down a lot. Lots of new people up in here. Drew's here. What's up, Drew? Just got done running and eating, so I thought I'd come bug y'all for a little while.
I bet he didn't have to swallow his burger whole.
Did you have time to enjoy the burger, Drew? I sold a photo scanner, new open box for $450, paid only $5. That's a really, really, really good flip. I found some pumpkins the other day. Have you heard about the pumpkins? Oh my gosh, this is crazy, y'all. I'm going to show you real quick. He reminded me, I'm getting eBay info.
Real pumpkins?
No, they are, what they are pumpkins that are animated. Okay, they're plastic with a rubber face.
You find the best Halloween decorations
and
ever.
They're animated pumpkins. There's 2 of them, and they are infrared. So one will talk, and then the other one will respond, and then talk again. They'll like talk back to one another. It's really, really awesome.
Do you live in Halloween Town? Like
really close to it. It's just right down the street, believe it or not.
You really find you're the king of finding Halloween bolos.
Oh, I did find that one. Was it a dog or a horse? It was a skeleton horse.
Yeah, I remember
it.
And it seems like all the time you're finding inflatables or decorations of some sort.
Yeah, I've got a oversized. What do you call the guy of death? Not the crypt keeper, but the
Grim
Anyway,
Reaper.
the Grim Reaper. I got an oversized 75-foot tall. No, that's not right. 25-foot tall Grim Reaper.
That's a difference.
25-foot tall Grim Reaper. And it's awesome. If it doesn't sell, I'm keeping it for myself. Okay, so check this out. What I'm going to show you is the listing on the manufacturer's website, okay? First, I'm going to show you the pumpkin. Why don't I do that? I'm going to show you the pumpkins. So check this out. This is the pumpkins, and they're animated. And let me go into big screen real quick.
Look at their faces.
They look like the. Have you ever seen Labyrinth? You
No.
remember Labyrinth?
No.
With I can't remember the name of the singer. So they reminded me of the door knockers on the movie Labyrinth. But they're basically just old creepy guys like you would see in the Haunted Mansion at Disney or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are they talk, they light up and talk to one another. They're battery operated, they are not electrical. This is the price on the manufacturer's website. I got to zoom in a lot. I might as well just tell you, because you're not gonna be able to see it because it's so small. They're $499.97 on the manufacturer's website.
Whoa.
And they're out of stock. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went gung ho, y'all. I said, why not? Right? Because
Why
there's
not?
none on eBay.
Do
Zero on eBay, sold or listed. Not even the past 90 days. Plus it's nowhere near Halloween right now, right? So I went ahead and I listed it for $700.
Woo!
$700. So I'll keep y'all informed on how that goes. But
Someone's gonna buy them.
that's gonna be a huge. They're only about 10 inches tall each, but if I had not have found the original website that they were on, I wouldn't have even guessed going that high. I was thinking maybe
That's
80,
crazy.
90
Like,
bucks.
And you know, like you said, it's nowhere near Halloween. And Derek was just asking, when do we start listing Halloween? Halloween and Christmas,
Oh yeah,
all year.
I do not wait.
It's its own category. It is not a season. Halloween and Christmas go out all year.
Yeah, if I wait, I'll end up forgetting I've got it.
Plus, think about it. If
late.
let's say 75% of the sellers are going to wait and they want to list theirs during, August, and when people are thinking, oh, fall is coming, then that means supply and demand. You own the market share right now. Why not get yours out there when the market's not flooded with Halloween?
I'm not going to put it on sale either. Like, if it doesn't sell this Halloween, I'm just going to decorate my house with it, and I'll keep it. I paid $5 a pumpkin, so $10. I'm in it for $10. The other thing I was going to say was, if you don't list Halloween and Christmas all year round, you're going to miss the mark. You're going to miss the opportunity of that person who's ahead of the game, who wants to get it before everybody else, before it runs out or something like that.
Or thinks about Halloween in their sleep, and they just love Halloween. And there's people that they eat, sleep, and breathe Halloween. They just love it.
There's a guy on our, not on my street, he's like a couple of blocks down. He does his house so covered with lights during Christmas. He'll take them down like second week of January, and then he'll start planning the next year in February.
Wow.
Because he makes his own like active, interactive lights and stuff like that. So there's people who do that all the time. They make haunted houses for their, list it now, keep it listed. Don't take it down. I'll accept if I don't have it listed as best offer, but if somebody offers me like $400, $500, $300, I'll still take it. I'm in it for $10, but let's see if somebody buys it for $700.
Was that a return request chime? Anthony asked.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see.
Hopefully not.
It's actually Derek and Jasmine.
Did they ask you a dumb question about an item? Just to be funny.
On the pumpkins, they asked, what's the lowest you'll go? I guess they just heard me.
Nice.
Sweet.
Oh my gosh, I have these canisters. You guys made me check my eBay. I have these canisters listed for $44 plus only $10 shipping. It is going to cost me more than $10 to ship these, okay?
Yeah.
The person offered $30, and I was going to take it, and I was like, it's going to eat into that $30 just for shipping. And these things are in incredible condition, mid-century metal canisters. And I was like, $35. They came back to me at $34.
Oh my gosh. I would decline out of spite.
That's what I'm saying. Should I be Richard Petty and just be like,
yes,
35, take it or leave it?
No, decline.
They said $10 down from the original listing, 34.
No. Because I bet you listed them at a ready-to-move price from the get-go. Did you
I
not?
listed them very high, and I've dropped them several times.
Oh, well, I'm wrong. Sorry.
They're so cool, though. Let me show them to you. They're these
Here.
amazing mid-century flower sugar coffee tea.
Yeah.
Look at them. Look at those great photos. They have wooden lids.
They're awesome.
They're worth more than $30. They're worth more than $34 plus shipping, and they're going
Minimally
like to Wisconsin or
$15.
something.
Minimally $15 a piece.
Come on.
Yeah, that's what, $60 when there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
No, I think you should get at least 50 to 60 for those.
Right.
Let them ride. Let them ride, Rachel. Let them ride. All right. So, what have we learned about returns? Don't accept them.
Yeah, just say no to returns. Be like Rachel Strickland. And I sold plenty of stuff enough to buy that Bronco, not accepting returns. Y'all do whatever you want. If making sales and offering returns makes you happy, you do you. Don't let me tell you not to. If you don't want to accept returns, don't listen to Adam, okay?
Okay, I'm willing to take a summer challenge. They say it's a summer slowdown anyway, but no time like the present. I will change, let's say, every other listing I do. Okay?
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can. I've set up my store to where I choose my return policy for every item.
Cool.
So I've chosen one to be default, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that way, by default, it's 14 days. Buyer pays returns. But every other item I list, I will list it as no returns for the next 3 months. We'll do June, July, and August. And then we'll report back in September. And I will keep up with it in my spreadsheet as to whether or not this was a no return or not. And basically, the outcome will be, how many sold with return options, how many sold with no return options. And I can't guarantee, I don't have the same multiples of the same product. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I have 2 of the same VCRs to test it on.
Just make sure the good stuff you list with no returns.
Yeah, well, it'll be equal. Like,
no, I just want the good stuff on my team.
Like, if I list a whole bunch I list in groups. So if I'm doing electronics, I'll do a bunch of electronics at once in a wave, right? So I'll do every other one, no returns. Or if I list shoes, I'll do it in a wave, or clothes, I'll do it in a wave. So it'll be more or less an equal of both at the same time. So we'll report back in September. I'm willing to take that challenge and see what happens. All right. Rachel, would you be willing to turn on returns?
No, not a chance. No. Like, I'm that adamant about.
You really are.
You don't have to buy my stuff. Like, if you, I don't mean you personally. I just mean if you look and you're like, ooh, I really want these vintage canisters, but she doesn't accept returns. Go find someone that does. Like, you don't have to buy my stuff.
All right, she's adamant. She won't even play, y'all.
I won't.
She won't even play the game.
I have enough headaches in reselling. Like, most of this job is fun, but sometimes the people are a headache, and that is literally advertising a headache. I'd love to have a problem with you, No.
Derek said he'll give you $20 for the canisters right now.
And throw in a pair of Jordans that'll fit me. And
Coco says no means no.
Yep.
If you don't do returns, you don't do returns. Here we go. Anthony C. I'm in the no returns camp for sure. If they need to return, they can message me, but I'm not going to advertise it. That's smart. I mean, treat your business like your business, as Rachel always says. And I like that. I like that slogan. I always have. So good job, Rachel, for coming up with that one. Give you credit where credit's due, right? So any closing remarks, Rachel? Or was that it? Treat your business like your business.
Yeah. I think you guys are all killing it. You're doing a better job than you know. Keep one foot at a time, right? One step at a time.
Anybody want to buy a Dorito? It's for sale. Cheap. $30 plus shipping. All right.
I hope you sell it.
I got to list it first, right? So, all right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate you so much. Again, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and catch us live again in 2 weeks. And hopefully Gary will be able to join us back again for another episode of Reseller Therapy. Y'all have a great night, everybody. We'll catch you later. Good night.